So today, I encourage you to become part of that fire that is lighting the lighthouse across the state of North Carolina. The lighthouse for children and their education, for their growth, for their self-actualization. And it is my honor and my great privilege to introduce one of my colleagues and one of my truest friends who I've become so close with this year, Mr. Tabari Wallace, the 2018 Principal of the Year from West Craven High School. I want to tell you one quick thing about him. This man is a force. What you are about to witness is a spectacle of an amazing man who understands how important it is to light that fire, to be that lighthouse. He understands the importance of his kids and his school, and not only that, but of his community. This man makes sure that every kid is served. This man knows what it means to feed the kids. Mr. Tabari Wallace.
Oh boy, y'all better turn it off because they'll be standing up in the back. I'm telling you, that's a change of state right there. Oh boy, 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 how are y'all doing this morning? Give yourselves a round of applause. Let's get it. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to I call our group the State Crossers, because we keep going back and forth across the state, back and forth. Give another round of applause for Julie Pittman and Freebird McKinney. I mean, it's a powerful force right there. I mean, they are awesome. With Freebird, he didn't know the mic was sitting over there on the chair, or he would have been racing back and forth across this podium. He had no idea it was over there. But I'm going to introduce who's going to start us off, my colleague, my partner. It wouldn't have been, what you're about to see in this presentation wouldn't have been made possible if it wasn't for the support of the District of Central Services, the Nutrition Department. Lauren Weyand, y'all.
Thank you. There is a story behind every vision, and I'm about to share mine with you. Can you hear me okay? Is that okay? I'm going to extend beyond the United States and take you to a small island in the Caribbean called Trinidad and Tobago, where this little girl grew up most of her life. We have a Trini in the house. Is that okay? Where this little girl grew up without any knowledge of something that's called no kid hungry, right? And no breakfast in the classroom, no someone fighting to feed kids. But I grew up in a home with a mom and a father who knew the importance of food. And I want to share with you a conversation that I've overheard my parents one day. And that's the first time I realized that we didn't have money, right? So in the Caribbean, parents are responsible for purchasing the kids' books and getting the kids to school. There was no bus transportation. You bought your own books and you find a way to take your kids to school. So it was 2 weeks before school started back after the summer break. And I overheard my parents talking, and my mom was telling my dad that after she purchased food for that month, that there was no money to purchase books for us, 4 kids at the time who was living at home. And the conversation changed my life because I can quote it 34 years later. My dad told my mom, how much is there left? And I can't remember the exact figure, but it was very little. And he said, please get Lauren's books. And what he said after really struck me. He said, I think she just might turn out to be something. Well, the reason why that conversation changed me is because after I got back to school, I started to notice kids in school that didn't have books. And then I started to think, well, if they didn't have books, what if they didn't have food? Because in my family, I know food came first before the books. But in other families, maybe that wasn't true for those kids. So I started to feel really bad and share my books, and sometimes would even give away some things to kids because I realized that, my family wasn't rich at that time. I realized that. And I so realized then and there that there are kids in my school that didn't have what I have because they didn't even have the book, right? So with that being said, let me fast forward to you 13 years ago when I decided to make school nutrition my passion, when I grew up and actually became something. When I went back to school to study nutrition, I'm a registered dietitian. And one of the things I soon noticed is something that I would like to say to my father today. He's not alive today. He didn't live long enough to see me turn out to be something. But I would love to tell him that, Dad, it really wasn't that math book. It was the security of food in the home that allowed me to turn out to be something. So that's the vision behind the vision. And my thoughts in becoming a school nutrition director is, how can I support kids? What can I do to support kids? And surely that is in line in my vision with the vision and the support of school nutrition staff and along with school administration teams such as Tabari Wallace.
All right, give it up. An administrator's vision or the district's vision intertwine. All right, that's partnerships working together to make sure that we meet every basic need of every child. All right? We come up with something not near another. Not near another. And all you English teachers in here, I know that ain't appropriate English, but we're going to do it today. I'm a math teacher. There's 2 right answers in English. There's only 1 in math, so just go figure. All right? Let you know that. But both of us are sitting here because we come from humble beginnings. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, and that's near another child will go through what we went through. Yeah, that little big head boy sitting up there, I'm going to tell you right now, he's smiling right there, but kids, especially in my generation, we hid a lot of things we went through. We were experts at it. Because none of us had anything, but people would act like they had something, so they could joke you. All right? So you're looking at a kid right now, that house over there you seeing is right in front of the projects. So we used to call it the project, right outside of the project. All right, that's Craven Terrace finest right there. There's 21 people living in that house, y'all, when I came up. My mama, our immediate family, my 3 aunts, and my cousins with their bad tails. I'm telling you, you had to fight for everything you had. I'm telling you. But you see that kid right there, he would get up, and I really value school lunch because of what I went through. School lunch was the cuisine. I'm from 5 Points, Dufferfield's finest. School lunch was a cuisine because for dinner, it was Vienna sausages, potted meat, and crackers. Mama was a chef when it came to noodles, oodles and noodles, any which way you can think of it. You ever had oodles and noodles with fruit in it? Oodles and noodles, I mean, just everything. And to this day, I cannot eat pork and beans and hot dogs. To this day. Now, you got to remember, we only had a little bit. I'm fighting with 19 other ones that just was greedy. They had their own, but they wanted mine. So I mean, you just learn to deal with it, and you learn to go with it. But when you got to school lunch, when you got to have lunch, that's when you got the fiestadas. Raise your hand, you remember. Good God, about there some good pieces, wasn't it? Never seen a tater tot until 5th grade. Never. We had the true burgers, or what they tell us now they wasn't, but to us they were burgers, they were true burgers, they were good burgers. You know, we had the good stuff when you had lunch, so I just reversed it. I got ready, you know, you sit at the table and you pull out your cloth and you. When I was at lunch, I was like, what you doing? I said, mind your business. I'm making it here. You see what I'm saying? But that's the value. That's how this school. That's why that's why I just hunted down No Kid Hungry. They didn't find me. It wasn't a TV. It was their mission. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you why this movement is so important. Because we suffered in silence. Remember that. But before I go there, We're supposed to be talking about partnership. I'm getting too deep. I'm getting too deep, ladies and gentlemen. The partnership, if you go to the schedule, we all know that the schedule drives everything in a school if you're an educator. If you have an effective master schedule, you can go through pre-planning and collaboration. You can go ahead and jump over those hurdles that society, some at central office, some naysayers, some of the haters, or some just envious and jealous people that want to keep you from getting there. I'm telling you right now, you can do that through planning. So we put a schedule together that you can't say no to. It impede on instructional time. We can't have breakfast in the classroom. Oh, I beg to differ. Nay, another. See what I'm saying? You have 84 minutes of instructional time. Not only that, you have an uninterrupted third block. Almost every school, 96% of schools, go to class, go to lunch for 30 minutes, and then come back to class. Now you go try to teach a child that's full of tater tots and fiestadas. You go try to do that. Now you look at your data, you tell you we conquered all that. Not only are we doing a breakfast break where the kids get to leave class, go to the kiosk, and they get to go and they eat. They feel like they at Starbucks. Yes, I'll take some peaches. You ought to see them. They're proud. It's not school lunch. They ain't in the line. They walking from the kiosk. Good. That's all good. And they get their socialization, and then they go back in class so they can focus. Then we threw in their power hour. Y'all looking at that. West Craven High School is probably the only next to Salisbury County. I got to give them props because that's where I got a little bit of it from. All right? Salisbury, Warren, go see it. That is a county on the rise, I'm telling you. But we tweaked their power hour. Adapt, don't adopt. Remember that. Adapt, don't adopt. If you do, you're stealing. All right? Tweak it a little bit. Okay. We look at this power hour. Our kids, if you have 75 and above in all classes, guess what you get? You get an hour lunch. There's no need to go to remediation now. If you have a 74 and below, you need some help to be proficient, correct? So then you go to your educational opportunity. You go to lunch, and then you go to your educational opportunity. So a lot of kids, they got to figure it out. What they do is they just say, I'm going to go and do this work right now so I can hang with the boys. And they go during intramurals, they can go outside, cornhole, go see the nurse, see the counselor, study, whatever you want to do. It's your time. You've earned it. But now we've used that basic need as a motivating factor at West Craven High School. That basic need. Socialization, safety, and making sure that you're not hungry. Making sure that you're not hungry. Now, next slide. It's hard being a kid today. It is extremely hard being a child today. But I'm going to get to that after we tell you about the collaboration.
Okay, the collaboration. So I know a lot of school nutrition directors are probably asking, what is our role in this collaboration, right? So Tabari is the one with the idea to do the kiosk, and he approached school nutrition, and the bottom line was, what is it going to do to our bottom line, right? So of course we all want to know that. Well, there are several ways we can do it. We didn't have to do a kiosk. We can do breakfast after the bell in the classroom setting, and that really does not cost the school nutrition program anymore, except for some carts that you have to pull to the classroom. But with the kiosk, a few things that we had to tweak was some of the menu planning for the kiosk. We actually source items that would make it easier. We had 4 kiosks. We have 3 of them in operation. And the cool thing is that the idea was taking the food to where the kids usually, quote unquote, hang out. So we have kiosks even in the media center. Is that right, Mr. Tabari? And you would not believe how many kids we have, and you'll see it at the end. Yes. We have kids packed in there eating from the kiosk. So yes, it does take some work from the school nutrition department, but the collaboration and the end goal and the vision of feeding the kids is what would drive us to not say no. So the answer should always be what?
Feed the kids. Right? There you go.
So when there's a will, there is a way. And the thing is, we can make it happen if we really want to feed the kids.
Not near another. I'm going to tell you that. All right, a child's day. And trust me, I'm not going to go into y'all break. I know how that is. Might get you out a minute or two early. I'm going to tell you. But if y'all think about a kid's day, all right, y'all grown. All right, a lot of you get paid when you go to work. All right, so you get compensated for what you do. A child's job is school, okay? And they should be focused and they should be having all their faculties and everything else. But out at West Craven, we service 485 square miles of rural area. And what you don't understand is it takes 90 minutes to get to us. So my children's day starts. They got to get up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, some of them. Ain't nobody eating at 4:30. Your stomach ain't even woke up yet. All right? So they walk down the long path with rule. My children get on the bus. They ride 90 minutes to school. They get to school. All right? They go to first period. Now, by then, your stomach woke and everything woke by that time, right? So my kids get to go out, socialize with their friends. Man, it was a long day. I couldn't call you last night. I was tired. You know, blah, 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 blah. They go, no. So then they eat and they go back to class. And then second period, third period, they're studying, societal expectations on them, teacher expectations on them, principal's expectation on them. Oh, we got them tests, EOCs is coming. We got interim assessments. We got to do this. If you play in the band, you know how the maestros are. You better be perfect. You better be perfect. He's going to tap that bond on it. He's going to get you. He's going to get you. Then you go to fourth period. You go to lunch, you enjoy power hour, you go to fourth period. Lord help if you play in an athletic sport or you're in theater. Because now you got to go to practice, correct? Now you're there till 5 o'clock. We get out at 2:30, 2:30, 5 o'clock. All right, now they got 90 minutes to get home. All right, 6:30, 7 o'clock. You still ain't did homework yet. Now you're at 8:30. Let me check my social media. I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep. And then you get up and you do it all over again. Now, imagine doing that hungry. Some of you are hungry right now. I heard your stomach when it got quiet in here. Some of you are hungry right now. Imagine a kid doing all that I just said. Hungry. Imagine that. Now, when I tell you this, the battle is real. The movement, the No Kid Hungry movement is real. Because what it serves is it brings light on the situation. I suffered in silence. Julie suffered in silence. Lauren suffered in silence. Freebird suffered in silence. Jason won't tell you, but he suffered in silence. He won't tell you, but he suffered in silence. But what you're doing right here, you're bringing light to it. So never goes hungry. You understand me? Please play the clip. Please play it. Yeah, let's get it, because you're going to know it. You're going to cry in a minute when I'm telling you.
Piece of it.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So, yeah, she was coming to get me. I was like, I got 2 minutes. What do you mean? But you see what light does, y'all? You see when you hide it and it's been in the dark, when you bring it to light, what happens? You're not by yourself. Kids got the biggest heart of any age group. Any age group. We hid it. All right? This brings it to light where now we got the kids on the battlefield helping us. We got the kids doing combat. And they doing it with their heart. They didn't ask for anything. They did not ask for anything. So our vision here today is to make sure that every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, of every decade, of every child's lifetime, they will be fulfilled and not another will go hungry. Do you understand me? That's what we're here for today. Feed the kids. Feed the kids.
So So what's the result of this partnership? Next slide. I want you to ask yourself, is this a nice thing we are doing for kids, or is it a necessary one? Next slide. I propose this.
Well, look at that data.
It might be nice, but it is necessary. When you've gone from feeding 83 student breakfasts to 540 students, over a 500% increase, it is nice but necessary.
And we only have 916 students. I'm a math man, you do it. See that right there? See that right there? And don't forget, we got 120, the kids that have half enrollment. They go to the early college or the community college and they don't come here. So that leaves about 100 kids that actually bring their lunch from home. And that's a testament to this beautiful lady right here, Miss Susan Mercer. She stretches the menu and she makes sure that our kids make sure it's presenting and it's good. I love you, darling. Appreciate all you do. Thank you. And you got 1 minute early. We're out of here. Good job.